player looming with this deck at the top of the standings.
An interesting addition to Alex's list here is Tormod's Crypt in the main deck, which is another 0-mana card that you can just go off with.
Okay.
And also fights the various dig through times and treasure cruises and other delve effects that are going on.
Nice. Good addition. The Temple of Mystery is where Phillips will start, so he will scry. You saw Sean Singer start off with a stand step Citadel. Here is a Jungle Hollow, so a little bit of life gain here.
So yeah, it appears as though instead of playing something like, Briber's Purse is the way to go off, Tormod's Crypt is the card. Briber's Purse has some utility as well. You can just cast it, have it do things, but with all the dig through times that are going on, Tormod's Crypt doesn't seem that unreasonable.
Flooded Strand will be sacrificed here for Phillips. Actually taking a look here at the mana base for Singer. He's got a couple copies of Scoured Baron, Jungle Hollow, and then Blossoming Sands. So actually taking a more budget approach to the Abzan mid-range deck. He does have the more important expensive cards like Courser and Siege Rhino, though.
And we talk about, these lands, all they are about really is casting your spells. They do influence matchups. These gain life lands, they're powerful against beatdown decks, better than playing with things like Mana Confluence. You'd rather just gain some life and maybe cast your things a little bit slower. This is a matchup where it's a huge cost to be playing them.
Yeah,
because
sure.
all this matchup is about is curving out, and the life gain does not matter at all.
It is Tygon scheming. So take a look at the top 5. You can put any of these in the graveyard, but the ones that you want to keep, well, you have to keep them on top of the deck.
There's both I believe a Caryatid and a Jeskai Ascendancy amongst the cards there.
It's a good start.
Yep.
So some of those are going to go to the bin. Mana Confluence among them. 2 will stay on top. And that'll be Phillips' turn, of course. That card is a sorcery, not an instant, so it doesn't kind of play like an impulse. Let's see what we have here.
Oh!
I have caught on to what he's doing. Okay.
Hold the phone.
Okay, it's an Ajani's Pride Mate.
Someone's built a combo deck of their own.
And then when you play a Courser, and you play, the gears have officially turned. They have officially turned. You play a Siege Rhino?
Oh, yeah.
That trigger?
Keep going.
I have figured it out. It took me a minute. That is adorable.
Oh, yeah.
And it might be way better than we think, given the 6-0 record. So, it's pretty insane.
Is this a trigger? That's a trigger.
That's a trigger. That's a trigger there. I'm unreasonably excited about this.
Yeah. I'm worried that he's going to get decked in a turn or two. But this is fun for the time being.
We'll need to see the top card from Courser being in play. Let's see what this is going to be. A Hero's Downfall. A card that does not play a big role in this matchup. Phil's going to draw a card. 1, 2, and 3. Going to take 1 down to 14. It might be time for Jeskai Ascendancy. It is. Well, it's 2 pieces to the puzzle. Uh-oh. This is a Retraction Helix. So, of course, the Ascendancy, whenever you play a non-creature spell, creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. You untap those creatures. And, of course, whenever you play a non-creature spell, you may draw a card. And if you do, discard a card. Retraction Helix is a non-creature spell, so going to play that. And now, until end of turn, target creature, which is a Sylvan Caryatid, says return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. So now the loop is kind of
we've established the loop.
Tormod's Crypt is a free one, so you Retraction Helix, you return that, you play the Crypt, you draw a new discard. You keep doing this until you find what you're looking for.
Yep.
And so now that Alex has demonstrated the loop, he just says, okay, I'm going to keep bouncing my Tormod's Crypt, play my Tormod's Crypt, draw and discard a card. I'm looking for something very specific.
He's got 1 copy of Altar of the Brood, so he finds that, and that'll do it.
So as he goes and he draws and he discards over and over again, demonstrating the loop so he doesn't have to be technical with it at this point. He just says, I'm just going to draw and discard and draw and discard. I'm looking for a copy. Altar of the Brood. How do I pay for it? Well, it's pretty simple. I tap my Sylvan Caryatid for mana. I put that thing into play. It's not too tough. So now, looks like he's found something that he's happy with. Discard another card. And we're going to keep it going. We can't forget as well that he has not played a land yet this turn. So he might be just looking for an untapped mana. As he keeps on going. This is getting a little bit interesting now.
Well, he's just floating enough where he can find the altar, and then the altar can kind of bounce it. He can then use the Caryatid to bounce the altar.
Sure. Because there's the altar, and that's going to untap the Caryatid. Got it. And the other thing you can't forget, too, is that Jeskai Ascendancy is a May.
Yeah, you don't deck out here, so he can stop the draw and discard at any point.
Yep. And so that's exactly what he's going to do. He says, I'm going to bounce my Tormod script, play it, he mills you one, and do that again. And keep doing it, and he doesn't deck himself because it's a May. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Jeskai Ascendancy at work.
That was turn
4. Yep. Tygon Scheming on 2, Caryatid on 3, Ascendancy plus Fun on 4.
Yep.
And there you
can
go.
Win pretty fast.
We do have a combo deck in Standard, and the combo is not a Johnny's Pridemate plus Gain Lifelands, even though that's the combo I would prefer.
That was a combo of sorts. He did make a 4/4 for 2 mana, which is a pretty good deal. Gained some life along the way, but unfortunately, that's not what it turned out the matchup was about.
Alex Phillips up a game here over Sean Singer with his Ascendancy combo deck. We will take a look at Singer's sideboard. See an Urborg, along with a Sorin, Solemn Visitor, a copy of Utter End, and then Hostilities, a Perilous Vault, 2 Liliana Vests, and Empty the Pits, Silence the Believers, 3 Bobblights, and 3 copies of Drown in Sorrow. I think Utter End is the easiest one to bring in.
Sure.
But
there's no guarantee that that's even going to matter.
Yeah, I know. That's the tough part. And besides that, there's nothing here that really screams, I'm here to beat Ascendancy combo. I think that's the bigger problem. He has to really hope that, the mana accelerants that Phillips draws aren't Sylvan Caryatid so he can interact with them.
Exactly, and I was about to make the same point. Part of the reason the Ascendancy combo deck is legitimate is there's no good Edict effects. Devour Flesh is rotated out. There aren't really good options for people to go to. So Caryatid, it's really hard to kill.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Anger of the Gods and some other kind of backdoor solutions. So when this deck has to win with things like Curious Followers or Rattleclaw Mystics, it's very beatable because Magma Sprays, that kind of stuff matter a lot. But when this deck draws Sylvan Caryatid, it's really dangerous. Really dangerous.
What do we see on the other side?
2 Arc Lightnings, a Magma Spray, 3 Lightning Strikes, 2 copies of Plukinos, a Xenagos the Reveler, 3 Savage Knuckle Blades, and 3 Swan Songs. I don't know, present the same 60, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know how much really changes, and that's kind of the problem, I guess, with the Ascendancy combo deck. We've seen players try to board in creatures like Pelucranos and Savage Knuckleblades to kind of, dupe some people and trick them, but by and large, this deck doesn't really have a great sideboard. I know Brian Braun-Duin played this deck at the Pro Tour, and he wrote that. And he's just, my sideboard sucked, because really there aren't a lot of cards to sideboard. Your deck has so many moving pieces that it needs to go off.
I think that I would want some copies of Briber's Purse in the sideboard because there are matchups where casting Briber's Purse can matter.
Okay.
And I would want the option to swap out Tormod's Crypts.
Okay. That's a minor thing, but
It's minor.
It makes sense.
Yeah. The rest of these sideboard slots they're okay, but I like the removal spells. The rest of it's sort of just kind of whatever.
Yeah, I think that's probably kind of the biggest failing of this deck to me is that your deck doesn't really get appreciably better after sideboard against anybody.
No, but there's not a lot of people with ways to interact with you.
Yeah.
Some of these decks are boarding into a couple copies of Erase, but they have to be taking the matchup pretty seriously to have that card available.
Some players at the Pro Tour, Sean McLaren among them, really took this deck seriously, Ascendancy combo, and just built their deck like beating it in mind. Sean had 2 main deck Anger of the Gods.
Yeah.
In his Jeskai deck. He said, I don't want to lose to this deck. And Sean is of the belief that this deck is going to get a lot better moving forward as well once people really figure out the best way to build it, because a deck like this, especially in Standard, it takes some time.
There's a lot of different ways that you can win the game.
Yeah.
A variety of kills available to you. The deck is tight on room because, well, so much setup is required. You need a mana creature, you need an Ascendancy, a 0 mana thing, and a Retraction Helix. So there's only so much wiggle room, but there's definitely room for small improvements at the minimum. Even seeing something like Tormod's Crypt, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be in the deck, but I never even thought of that.
Yeah.
And there's some matchups where it's probably much better having Tormod's Crypt than Briber's Purse.
Yeah, probably way better than we think.
Yeah.
Just, again, the interaction to clear out and dig through time and some of the greater stuff, no treasure cruises, stuff like that, probably matters more than we think. I do like Sean's use of a Johnny Pridemate here. It makes more sense now. I was looking at the mana base immediately, and I was like, man.
Building on a budget.
Yeah, building on a budget. Building on a budget and starting 6-0, I mean, that's awesome. And it's like, actually, no, I've got a little bit of spice here. My Pridemates are going to consistently be 4/4s, 5/5s, 6/6s. There's a Fleecemane Lion. Phillips. Started off with a Temple of Mystery. There's the Caryatid. That's the scary one.
That's step 1.
Singer's going to draw his card. He's got an Utter End in his hand.
I mean, it's not impossible for Alex to win next turn.
Yeah, I know. It's the scary part. Here's Fleece Mane.
This deck can win really fast.
If it all comes together. Let's see what Singer wants to do on this turn. It's got a Hero's Downfall in his hand, but that one's pretty blank.
That targets things, so that does not work.
Yeah. Don't know if he has anything else to play. It looks like the answer is no, so he's just going to pass the turn back. Phillips draws his card.
Ladies and gentlemen, I've got 4 spots remaining in our
Looks like a Frontier Bivouac will be the land that's played.
of the day.
And a Morph. Probably Rattleclaw Mystic. We're gonna find out, aren't we? Yeah, and it is. Hero's Downfall. Kill that thing real quick.
Good read.
Yeah. Still got it, as it were.
It was a Sagu Mauler.
Yeah. Couldn't Hero's Downfall that one fast enough. Abzan Charm was the draw. Singer giving this turn a lot of thought. Perhaps it's time to maybe do a little +2/+2 action.
Pump up the jam. Pump up the jam
Yeah,
on Fleece Mane.
try to kill him faster.
Yeah, it's something.
Just gonna pass back. You don't want to give him a lot of time. You don't want to give him more draw steps, that's for sure.
I think the hope here, if you're Sean, you use the Abzan Charm, draw some cards, hope that you find a 4th land untapped, and then you can hold up Utter End, and maybe that plus Fleece Mane line is enough to get it done.
Yeah, potentially. Phillips now in the tank as well. What's he need to be scared of, I think, is what he's thinking if he has the combo. He's just going to play a Morph. I'm going to guess his Rattleclaw Mystic again.
Still got it.
Do.
You still got it.
It's not going anywhere during this match. The Charm. Is it time to draw 2? Or maybe pump up the jam on the Lion?
I think he would have pumped up the jam last turn.
Okay. Gonna appeal 2. This is, of course, the you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life, but instant speed.
Part of the problem with this whole line of play is that so many of Sean's lands come to play tapped.
Yeah.
That holding up Utter End next turn, there's no guarantee even draw 2 plus your draw step. Once you're on the Ajani Pride Mate plus gain lands, plus try lands.
I think his Murderous Cut there to take care of the Rattleclaw Mystic. Here's an attack for 3.
This is the first time that Sean's mana has really all been spent. The shields are down. This is the first time, so we'll see what Alex can do now with nothing to have to worry about.
Alex draws a card. Is it go time? That's the question. I believe he has Ascendancy in his hand. I'm not sure if he has the necessary other tools to go off. Retraction Helix, Tormod's Crypt, something to bounce, who knows?
That's the thing, the deck can kind of semi-go off here. Open with Ascendancy, play something free, get a loot. You may be able to dig for it. You don't have to have it all at once.
Yeah. I think that's what makes the deck kind of scary to play against.
There's that, yeah, there's that too.
Yeah. Well, there's Jeskai Ascendancy. That's step 1. Step 2 is Tormod's Crypt. That'll untap this. And a little draw plus discard. See what Phillips will discard in this situation. Because all it takes now is a Retraction Helix.
Yep. Let's get another Crypt in hand.
Yeah, so another draw.
That's another free loot.
Can't forget, he hasn't played a land yet this turn either. So there's a Wooded Foothills over there. Gonna discard the Crypt, okay. Gonna play the Foothills. Sacrifice this, going down to 10. Search up a forest or a mountain. We'll see where he wants to move forward after that.
Some risk here in deploying the Ascendancy without the ability to win this turn.
Absolutely.
So A little surprising to see a Crypt get thrown away there, which is one more shot at Retraction Helix.
And a free one, too.
Yeah. Well, the cost is the other resources in his hands. I mean, he must really value what he has left over if he's willing to lose a Tormod's Crypt there.
And the big question are, what are the other cards that are hiding out over there? We're going to find out one way or the other. Going to add a little bit of mana here.
I think the last card in his hand may be Dig Through Time. Now this makes sense.
There's the altar.
Oh, there's an altar, rather. Excuse me. That's still a free loot, most importantly.
Yep. So that's going to untap the Caryatid, draw, discard. So away goes Mana Confluence.
And this gives him enough. So the Dig Through Time, he has 5 cards in the graveyard.
And 3 mana.
Triggers an untap on the Caryatid,
Yep.
which means Retraction Helix is a live draw. So he does have 7 looks at it.
That's so many. You say it so casually. That's so many looks. He's got to untap. 7 looks. With potential for redraws. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Did he find Retraction Helix? I don't think so. Not positive.
I mean, he gets to take a backup Ascendancy here, which is nice in the event that Sean is able to kill it.
Yeah. This card draw going to go to the bottom of the deck. And he's got a backup Ascendancy. But not a Helix, so he just has to pass the turn. For Sean Singer, it's a sigh of relief. You can't cast Utter End fast enough.
Kill that thing.
Yeah. Get that off the table, please. Now, here's what's really interesting. Is it appropriate to kill that or the altar?
Well, there's most of these lists play more than one altar, so
Okay.
that's really risky to go after the altar.
Okay. Is there more than one in Alex Phillips' list?
There is not. So that is, well, it's not a game win because Alex can go into manual mode, which is a set of Ascendancy plus creatures that can attack
And
try
then get to work that way.
But that's way harder.
Yeah.
And all the spot removal that Sean has suddenly gets turned on if that's the route that Alex needs to go down.
You could understand him wanting to kill the Ascendancy. It's the most important card.
I mean, if you kill the altar and then he just has a second altar and kills you, you look pretty stupid.
Yeah. There's a second Jeskai Ascendancy. Just pass the turn back, I think.
I think, he's milling him
He
for
wants to
one.
mill him, yeah. Teach you a lesson.
You never know. Could come down to doing it the old-fashioned way.
And he does have to tap the Sylvan Caryatid to actually cast the Jeskai Ascendancy for white mana. So, yep, there's the mill. Get a forest out of the way. Now, let's see. Just going to untap Will Singer, draw a card. Just trying to fade Retraction Helix for as long as he can. While clearing out this game as fast as he can.
There's no real way for him to speed up his clock is another
Yeah.
issue here, too.
That's a tough part.
I mean, he can just cast his creatures and hope that, you know, Alex rather has to try to chump block and win that way.
Soren's going to come down now.
This hit knocks Alex down to 2, and then you have 2 lethal creatures, so. And probably a removal spell left over in Sean's hand to handle a chump blocker if it comes up.
Wouldn't surprise you.
So,
Gain a little bit of life on the way out. Pump the pride, mate.
yeah, let him know who's boss.
See the last 2 cards for Singer, Courser and Citadel. Phillips. Don't know if he has it yet. Let's see what this is going to be. think it might be another copy of Jeskai Ascendancy.
Yeah, and I think he has a dig through time. So right now, I think the question is it mana neutral to cast the Ascendancy and loot and maybe play another spell and get 2 loots with the dig through time in hand? Because if it's mana neutral or he's +1 mana, then it's definitely worth casting the second Ascendancy. Otherwise, probably not. He also may need to cast this just to be able to loot.
It's going to mill. Yeah, this is interesting because this is just this horrifying situation. If you're Singer, just what can my opponent do to me?
Well, you find out soon enough.
Yeah. Do they have the Retraction Helix yet? Well, clearly not yet. But boy, is he getting close if he's got another dig in his hand.
Well, he can't even cast a dig right now. There's only the 1 dig in his graveyard. So he has to do this.
Yep.
And now
he can dig. He's got to get a little creative. All right. That's actually I think that's a Treasure Cruise?
Oh, that's Treasure Cruise. Okay.
Got it.
So he gets to loot with the Ascendancy if he wants to, which it appears that he does. That's another upshot Tormod script. You can just get to put it in your graveyard when you want to for dig.
3 cards.
Appears as though he has brought in Swan Song.
He has not found a Retraction Helix. He's going to pack it up. Sean Singer is going to win game number 2 here against Alex Phillips. This is part of what can happen with the Ascendancy combo deck. The deck can just fail.
Yep, like I said earlier in the broadcast, my experience, it's a lot of wins 2 games to 1. 1 game where you're too fast, 1 game where they're too fast, and 1 game where they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But that assumes that your deck's fast enough to win on turn 4 or turn 5 uncontested. Sean's deck is not, and that's a big problem in this matchup.
Game number 3 going to be underway shortly here. This is not going to be the last we see of Ascendancy combo. I'm a little scared of it in other formats. I think we're going to see a lot of it in 2015.
Most likely. Well, for as long as Wizards allows it, I guess. We'll see.
We will take a look at our 2015 schedule here for the Open Series, where I expect to see a lot more of this deck. It's going to be a cold start. It's going to be a little bit chilly to start off things. We're going to start it off in Columbus, Ohio, follow up to Philly, one of your favorite cities.
It is.
I know you're a big fan of their football team.
I am not. I actually do like the city of Philadelphia in this sort of abstract sense. I like the thought experiment of Philadelphia, but some of the specifics are not great.
Washington, D.C. after that, and then we will head to Indy, my old stomping grounds. After that, we'll warm it up a little bit in Houston. Then we'll go to L.A., not too far from you.
I can drive to that Open.
We'll go to Baltimore after that. That's actually the week my brother gets married, so I will not be doing that show.
Okay.
Or maybe I will be and I don't know it yet.
Well, I would work that out sooner rather than later, I guess.
Grand Prix Miami after that, I 100% will be there. We had a Grand Prix there last year. That was a lot of fun, so looking forward to doing that one again. Final dates to wrap it up, we'll go to Dallas, and then we'll fire off our Season 1 Invitational in Richmond. So,
is your brother willing to have his wedding in Baltimore?
No, it is in Mexico.
You should sell him on the Inner Harbor.
I like the Inner Harbor. It has
nice.
Noodles and Company. That could be where the wedding meal is. They could cater the wedding.
I like City X. It has a Noodles and Company.
Got a problem with that?
It's just not a
potential sponsor of the broadcast.
I'm not denigrating Noodles and Company. I like it fine. It's just you can find a Noodles and Company basically anywhere. It's not really a selling point.
Except for the city of Seattle. Mm-hmm. There are none of them, or I wouldn't like it as much.
Sure.
Yeah, going to Indy.
I don't think it's a defining cultural characteristic or icon of the city. Is the Noodles and Company in the Inner Harbor?
For you,
it's true.
Speak for yourself. Whenever I go to Baltimore, I think of a couple things: Camden Yards, Noodles and Company.
That's it. And that's it.
And The Wire in that order.
Sure.
That's it. I am who I am, and I'm proud of it. Both players are going to take a look at their 7 here. Alex Phillips will be on the play. Looks like he might be happy enough. Let's see if Sean Singer likes what he sees.
This is tough when you're in Sean's seat of, is my opponent's hand just fine and he's missing some pieces, or does he have everything and I need to mulligan really aggressively? Because it looks like Sean's hand is okay. Yeah. It's lands and spells and some things to do, but doesn't really interact with Alex's best draws.
Okay against this deck may not be enough.
Exactly.
That's the thing that's really scary.
But sometimes it will be fine,
Yeah.
and you don't want to be mulliganing down to 5 looking for pieces that you didn't actually need.
Phillips going to play Frontier Bivouac. Pass the turn back over to Singer. Singer very quickly going to play in a Johnny's Pride Mate. This is the game plan. No mana accelerant here for Phillips yet, though. We saw Sylvan Caryatid lead off both games.
I think he just drew it this turn. In which case, you know, if you're Sean, feel free to punch the table.
Yeah. There's the problematic one.
Don't actually feel free to punch the table. That's not okay. But you know what I mean.
A Pride Mate and now a Blossoming Sands.
Combo deck.
They are larger and in charger. In for 3.
They were 2/2s just a minute ago, and now they're 3/3s. That's some synergy. Hopefully you don't just die.
Flood Shrek going to get sacrificed here for Alex. It'll be an island. So the mana is certainly online right now for Phillips. He's got everything that he needs. As far as mana is concerned, we'll see if he has an Ascendancy or maybe a Retraction Helix. That's a big question.
Even if he just has the Ascendancy, he doesn't necessarily need to go right away because the Ascendancy allows him to loot a bunch.
This is true.
If you're Sean, you have to be thinking, man, I got really lucky that last game that Alex did not find a Retraction Helix because he had so many looks at it.
Yeah. Whenever, you know, if they're missing the piece and cast Dig Through Time, I would just, okay, I'm dead.
Yep,
I would just assume I'm dead. The Ascendancy again? It is. And just passing of the turn.
But he does have Swan Song as backup. And Sean may not even be able to kill it because he has so many of these gain lands.
Yeah.
Combo! 4/4s now.
A little bit bigger. I mean, the clock is actually...
These things are lethal next turn.
Yeah, the clock is actually really fast for Singer in this deck, which I like a lot. The problem is it's just not going to be fast enough, it looks like.
Well, maybe.
Maybe. You're definitely right.
We don't know just yet.
Again, this is part of the issue with playing a combo deck that requires a lot of cards in Ascendancy combo. He's got 2 of the pieces. Now he needs Retraction Helix and a thing to bounce to draw some cards. Let's see what this is. It's another Ascendancy. Untap the Caryatid, draw discard. You know, we saw in the last game, this deck can just fail. Here's a mana. That's a Retraction Helix.
And 2 loots. It's a lot of looks.
Yep. So he's going to get some mana here.
Yeah, because he gets to respond to one of the untapped triggers.
Yep, by adding some mana.
Yeah.
Draw, discard. Draw and discard. There goes Mana Confluence. What's next here for Phillips? 2 mana. It's a copy of Sylvan Caryatid.
Which is important because this is a stable chump blocker.
Yep. Very quick draw.
Which allows him to keep a carry at it.
Gain some life. Give some beats. There's a block. 3, 4, 5. No way to deal any more damage. Of course, one Caryatid's going to bite the dust. Look at these Pride Mates go. This thing just says, you're up. Please don't kill me.
Yep.
He did already cast a Retraction Helix.
Yeah, couldn't go last turn, so
Yeah.
he probably needs to find another Retraction Helix plus a Tormod script.
Gonna add a little bit of mana. Keep on moving and grooving. Lightning Strike. It's gonna untap this. It'll add some mana in between the triggers again. Draw and discard a card.
There is
Mana
Dig Through
Confluence.
Time.
Yep. There goes another land. Yep, now it's time to go through time. This is where it gets scary.
He still has the Swan Song too, so.
Yep. Gonna move a bunch of cards. Had some mana floating. Gonna get some more triggers, so he's gonna get to see 9 cards. 7 from dig, 2 from the triggers.
It's a lot. It's a lot of looks.
Yeah. Generate a little bit more mana.
Yeah. So he gets to loot twice before the dig if he's feeling so inclined.
Yep. Hit 1, Mana Confluence to the bin. Hit 2, Swan Song to the bin. That's the card he was holding on to for a while, so that's got to be. Because Singer didn't know that, but.
I think it was a second Swan Song. He's found a Retraction Helix.
And I believe a Dragon Mantle.
Yeah.
That's the 1-2 punch. There's the mantle. He's going to get to generate some mana.
Yeah, and I think that Alex is probably going to just play it safe and keep this Swan Song the whole way through. Because
as he should.
It's huge insurance against some random removal spell or disenchant effect that Sean might have.
Yep. So here's blue mana, and there's a Retraction Helix. And now you can explain, since we saw the other loop, this is basically the same thing, but with Dragon's Mantle.
Yeah, he can bounce the Dragon's Mantle because Retraction Helix says non-land permanent. So he can bounce the Dragon's Mantle, so it's a free cantrip each time through, and it's the same. It's essentially the same loop.
And had Sean said, okay, maybe I'll just utter end your Dragon's Mantle, well, that's where the Swan Song comes into play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to go off, you either need a 1 mana permanent that cantrips or a 0 mana permanent.
Mm-hmm.
Your choice.
And now he's got them both because now there's a Tormod's Crypt. So now Alex says, I'm going to demonstrate the loop, if you don't mind. I'm going to rock and roll, do my thing here. I'm going to go through my deck. And as I do this, I'm looking for something in specific. I believe it is an altar. See a couple of lightning strikes that came in from the sideboard. And it's that hopeless feeling, if you're Sean Singer, knowing you can do nothing to stop this. And it looks like he's found what he's looking for, but he has to discard the Swan Song.
In that
This
case,
is probably the opening, right? Yep, that's the opening he was looking for.
and he has no
That's
other way.
going to do it, yeah. Sean Singer is going to win this match over Alex Phillips. That utter end is what causes the problem.
So my question there is, as Alex is doing his thing, can he take a treasure cruise, just cruise, so he never has to discard the Swan Song?
Absolutely.
Yes.